I feel like that's something that we don't give ourselves credit for. The bounce back. Because we're just so like, oh, that was just a fucking shitty fucking week, or that was a shitty year, or that was bro, like if you're here, you survived everything you've been through so far, you know? So for someone to like actually bounce, even something simple like that, just a day, it's like, bro, because that takes mindfulness. It's not just given to you. Like you gotta decide to like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know?
I heard some line somewhere like you're undefeated at making it through bad days.
Yeah.
Undefeated, baby. Undefeated.
I mean,
Phones off.
I've taken a couple hits, don't mind lie.
No, but you're still here, so you're undefeated. We're defeated till like it's a wrap, you know.
Yeah,
but
very, very true.
Until then, you're undefeated, dog. You made it through those fucking days.
Every day is Monday for me, so.
What's a day? What's a? I don't
What's
know.
a
I don't know
Monday
the
feel
three
to you?
letters before
So
MON.
So you know how usually
Every
when
day.
we were younger, I'll start Monday.
Yeah.
This week is just horrible. I'll just start Monday.
Uh-huh.
So now, whatever type of day I'm having, good or bad, every day's Monday, so I always try to just
Get to work.
make it.
That's a fire. Every day's Monday. That's a fire mindset to have.
Mondays are my favorite days, bro. I love Mondays, right? Like
Mondays are good.
Mondays, it's once you actually decide that you can like control your work ethic, Mondays are so exciting, bro. Because you can just do whatever the fuck you want. At least to me, I don't know.
Are we started?
No, I don't think so. Are we started yet? Yeah? Hey, see me out? It's a little hot. Or is it because I'm wearing the puffer?
Yeah.
I'm wearing the
No, it's a
puffer?
little warm. It's a little warm. It's a little
Right?
warm.
Wow,
The
he's
puffer,
agreeing.
it's a thick one though. It's a
He
thick
is
one.
agreeing though.
It
That's
adds, I'm sure.
Why?
you were the
You
one
were,
that was cold
you were
last
saying
time.
it was cold last time.
You needed the blanket and shit.
I left you a blanket there just in case.
There you go. Where's the blanket? Right there.
All right.
Si te da frío, mijo, ahí está tu cobija, ¿ok?
Ya,
Ahí te
listos.
pones calientito.
Oh yeah, turn
No
it
quiero,
off.
no quiero que esté frío.
Yeah. That's
Es que le
snacky
pega
right
allí
there.
and on his neck, so it's,
All right.
yeah.
Let's get right into it.
We're going to get into it.
Let's talk about the therapy, bro.
Let's talk about therapy. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
struggles.
Let's talk
TBH, I'm
about
a little
it.
nervous to talk about it for some reason. But,
Why?
you know, we'll take the little butterflies.
Where were the nerves coming from?
You know, I just want to, like, deliver a good message and be honest and transparent and open. But, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Have you guys started thinking about have you guys recognized certain things about like now that we're recording and we're being filmed? I've started thinking about things differently, specifically like how I show up.
What do you
Say
mean?
more.
Yeah,
Also.
I was about to say.
You know, when you're in a regular conversation, as we typically do have a regular conversation out in public at a restaurant or anything, there's no like pressure to like wrap up a sentence very cleanly, or there's no like, oh wow, I could have given a better example, and the example
Correct.
comes to you the next day. No, and I'm just curious, like now that we're recording and having conversations on a pod, if you guys feel any type of way about like how you're showing up.
I think you want to take that.
You
Take
go
that
first.
I think it's normal. Right? But a lot of it does come from I think outside perspective, probably clouding your judgment, right? Seeing, is anybody gonna think that I wasn't enunciating, or I wasn't like very efficient with the sentence that I was saying, right?
Yeah.
At least for me, it's I'm gonna say what I gotta say. That's not to say that I'm not trying to work on improving my vocabulary and improving how I speak.
Yeah.
Right. But I when I would be very, I guess, I don't want to say insecure because that's too strong of a word, but when I would doubt what I would say in front of a camera, is because I was hoping to be seen a certain way and expecting to not be seen another way, in a negative way.
Yeah.
Right. At least for me. What I'm going to say is what I'm going to say, you know?
Yeah.
You're hitting on, this resonates with me. You're hitting on like fear of perception.
Yeah.
And I fucking dealt with that shit for years, right? Like not just on the pod, just showing up in conversations in public with friends and how I show up in conversations at work. Yeah, I think you get anxiety around how you sound, what you say, because I think part of the reason it's multifaceted, it's complex for sure,
Super.
right? But one element is like, oh, how did I sound? Oh, they're gonna view me like I'm trying to show off, or they're gonna view me as someone that's self-centered, and that's what creates the anxiety. I think, again, one reason. But I feel like you're about to say something.
No, it is a little bit complex. It's also fascinating to think about like how much of your day are you spent worrying about how others are perceiving you. Because if you
Too much for me.
And I think that's with everyone, right?
Same, yeah,
I think if you reflect on like throughout the day, how much of it was worried of like, oh, I showed up to the gym, like, is this person looking at me a certain way? Or I'm having a pod with my friends and like, did I articulate myself correctly? If you really like dial in how often we're worried about the perception of others and how worried we're like these outside factors are influencing us, it's a fucking huge majority of our day.
Yeah.
And I think the better that you could surrender that and just kind of be at peace with being authentically true to yourself and just being that, I think that's like the beautiful thing.
And I feel like there's a lot of angles to solving this one, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen like Gary Vee on a reel before say like, you're tripping about what homegirl thought about you. You're tripping about what your boss might have thought. You're tripping about what the client might have thought. Guess what? Nobody fucking cares about you. Really? Like, I mean, yes, are there moments where someone's gonna like double take on something? Sure. But the majority of the time, like, bro, no one's fucking, everyone's dealing with their own shit. We all got like enough shit we're dealing with, like more often than not, like.
And I'm sure you guys have been in this situation, right? You share an insecurity with someone, or you kind of just like, hey, I'm worried about this. And the receiver's like, oh, I've never thought that about you, or that never crossed my mind.
Crazy.
So it's super crazy. Yeah. And it's like, we have these insecurities that for whatever reason we need to unlearn. And it's important to kind of spend some time there, right? And then also like, let's recognize that the other people that are in the receiving end of how you're being perceived, you have no idea how they see you. There's this like mind fucking idea that exists of there's endless versions of you. And that's kind of like the multiverse, multi-reality thing, because the way that you think of me and the way that you see me, it's completely different than Rita does or that Frankie does. So in reality, there's 3 versions of me that exist in front of you. And the one that I exist within myself and my insecurities probably doesn't align with your versions, because you do think that I speak well, or you do think that I have a nice body, or you do think that I carry myself well. And that's like a fucking interesting thing to sit with.
Yeah. This kind of boils down to like the topic that we had brought up earlier is comparison to others at the root of that, right? Where you're like, where you're seeing, we talked about the flavors and I'm just a different flavor.
Oh, right? Bro, that's a,
like, no, right? Like he has this analogy of like everybody's an ice cream flavor. Yeah. And it's not that one's better than the other. It's just we're all different flavors.
I don't think if I said specifically ice cream, but I'll share that.
What am I?
No, I think they were meals.
Was it meals?
I said meals.
I could have sworn it was ice cream.
I think like honestly,
I like ice cream.
Everyone
let
likes
me
ice
sample
cream.
that one.
I don't know where I came up with this, but like no, because it's not about sampling, and I'll go into detail right now. I don't know how it came up to me, but like to this day, bro, it still saves me from being feeling insecure.
Bro, always comes back.
It's a gem, dude. It's a gem. So
break it down. So
the gem is this. Going back to the root of evil and the root of insecurity, kind of just comparing yourself to others, right? Look, I love hamburgers and I love burritos,
Me too.
And
Same.
I love French food and Thai food. And often in our act of comparison, we're comparing ourselves to someone who has something that we don't have, and I think that's where like a big root of the comparison comes in. So like this guy that I feel insecure with, he's like a lot more muscular than me, or he's a lot bigger than me, or he has tattoos and I don't. And like we do these comparisons that exist of just us comparing ourselves to others because people look different. Maybe they have an act, whatever that might be, that like they're different. But you also love French food and Thai food equally. Like you love them both. And it's not to say that one is less than another. It's just a different flavor. Yeah. And we're lucky to be born Latino, first generation. I'm the complexion, skin color, facial hair, height, and it's all unique to me and the way that I carry myself. Yeah. And that's my flavor. And like, going back to integrity and authenticity, and like the more you can hone into that, like you leverage who you are, and people will gravitate to you because they love that flavor. But it's not to say that like you're less than the French, the pizza, because you're a hamburger or because you're a taco. Like we love everything equally, right?
Makes sense.
But like, if you want to double click and kind of just share how you took it when we had this conversation.
It was, what was the example? I mean, for me, a lot of it is like working out, right? It's a whole like someone's bigger than me, and
I have a good example for you, and it started to interrupt.
No. Go
So
ahead.
one of the
I'd
examples
rather,
is
I'd
like,
rather just share. Yeah, go ahead, share.
so Kim Kardashian was dating Kanye West, and he
I was
is,
going with this.
you
Hot
know,
topic here.
top tier of his industry, and he's a leader, and he's a musician, and he's a designer, and he's like everything that he encapsulates. They broke up, and then she was dating Pete Davidson for a little while, right?
Complete opposite.
The complete opposite. So we often feel insecure of like, oh, that we can't get that girl because she's dating a football player. But yeah, I'm not a football player flavor. I am my individual flavor, and what I bring to the table is different from what
I'm
he
a
would.
fire ass set of tacos, good salsita. And
Correct.
Good, like, yeah.
Correct.
Fuck
And he
yeah,
might
good
be like
tortillas.
fettuccine Alfredo. And there's a time and place. No, seriously. And there's it makes a lot of sense. Like,
Keep going.
bro,
yeah.
sometimes I want to eat a taco and sometimes I want to eat pasta.
Yeah.
But they're both delicious.
Yeah.
And like,
Look at them.
you know, fall in love with what you are because Kim Kardashian dated Pete Davidson and Kanye West, and they're completely different.
Yeah.
So if I was being fake and I'm like, oh, I have to be like Kanye West to get a Kim Kardashian, well, that's actually not true, because that's like the example of, you know, being a different flavor and like falling in love with it and like not being insecure about it. So whenever you're in a room, I guess this is for everyone, whenever you're in your room and you're feeling really insecure about that guy or that girl or that speaker or whatever you might be in, it's just a different flavor than you. It's not like you don't have to be that. It's just a different flavor. And that's an easy way to like stop the insecurity thought, because like feel good. Like it's just a different flavor, and people will love all flavors. And if they don't fuck with you, they don't fuck with you. Like, don't try to make anyone fuck with you.
If you don't like Thai food, then you're missing out, bro. Like Thai food's fire, you know.
Correct.
If you don't like tacos, bet like you're missing out.
I'm add on to that, right? Which is like for you to be able to remove that insecurity, because it's very normal to compare yourself to others. I think the only way to, I guess, not compare yourself, because that person excel in whatever they're doing. You have to make sure you're excelling in your area. That's not gonna go away by just sitting on your fucking ass and not really doing shit.
Correct.
Like you have to understand, be self-critical, break yourself down. What do I like? What am I good at? What am I not good at? I want to be good at this. Here's the game plan. I'm gonna work on this so much to develop this into a really good skill. So you have all these areas that you're working on and making sure you're adding value and improving on every single thing that you're good at. I don't want to jump on whatever he's doing good because he's popping off with that, right? Like, nah, like this is my sport. This is what I do. These are my areas of expertise. I'm going to make sure I'm really fucking good at this, right?
Frankie, I'd love for you to like share, I'm blanking on the name of the movie with emotions.
Inside Out. You read my mind.
So
this is where I was gonna go next. Go ahead.
double click on envy and like what envy means, because
Yeah.
Frankie, like in segue to just kind of the conversation of insecurity and like not like,
And therapy.
yeah, if you reframe what an insecurity is, go ahead. It's fucking beautiful.
Bet. No, we're on the same frequency, bro. And this is
Let's
exactly
go,
what I want to go next.
baby. Let's go.
So we're talking about comparison, right? And how, like we see someone that like maybe is like has a little more built than us, or has a little more style, or has a business, or is doing something that we want. We tend, to your point, to go like, fuck, like why don't I have that? Why am I not there yet?
It has a physical, emotional, negative response within your body.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the movie Inside Out, if you haven't seen Inside Out 1 or 2, go see it. Fucking
Amazing.
Fuego.
I haven't seen 2, but
I've
the first
seen
is
one.
amazing.
One
I
was crazy.
cried in 1 and bawled in 2. Go watch it.
It's deep. It's really
it's
deep.
fucking fire. Inside Out 2, net. It's like a movie that follows like this little girl, and they go inside her brain, and each of the little characters is like an emotion, right? Anxiety, envy,
Joy.
etc. And then there was a really good shout out. I was scrolling IG. Myra sent me this reel that said like a way that we can appreciate some of our emotions, right? And the emotion Alberto's talking about here is envy. And the way it broke it down was like the way you can talk to envy, you can tell like whenever you're feeling envious, like, oh fuck, he has that business, he has that dope car, that dope whatever. You'd be like, bet, thank you, envy. I appreciate you reminding me of what I'm striving for and what I'd like to have one day.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like instead of being like, I don't have that, like, oh, what the fuck? Like envy is just telling you like, here are some things that you're pursuing and you want to have one day maybe. So let's not like feel, 'cause especially envy, I feel has a really negative connotation, right? Like envious, like envy is just reminding us of what we want.
Yeah.
That made me want to see the movie. Just that by itself.
No, well, but like
flip on something we see so negatively.
Really ask yourself, right? Ask the why behind why you're feeling insecure.
Yes.
Like, why am I feeling insecure right now? It's standing in this group or being in this space. Is it because I didn't prepare? Is it because the insecurity is highlighting something that I want? And if it is highlighting something that I want, well, be thankful for the insecurity because it just gave you something that's super valuable. It gave you direction.
Yeah.
And I think what we lack in a lot of times is like, we don't know what to do. We lack direction. I think if I think of back to my younger self as a young adult, even in my like teenage years, bro, like the biggest thing that I wanted was direction. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to, spend my time and energy on. And maybe if I had that insight of like, no, these insecurities that I'm feeling, they're not bad. Don't suppress them. Like sit with them and then ask, why am I feeling it? And it's like, oh, well, I feel insecure because he's bigger than me. Then maybe I do really want to spend more time in the gym.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I feel insecure because he has a business. Oh, this just reminded me that I really want to have a business. And it's in those insecurities that like, oh, okay, this is what I need to be spending my time on.
I like that.
So it's what's another thing that's like super interesting? Vocabulary and like being able to distinguish between like disappointment and like fear. And oftentimes I think that if we like everything's sad and everything is anxiety, well, maybe like double click on that. Like what is the umbrella that consists of sadness? And it might be disappointment or it might be disgust, envy. And then that kind of makes you sit a little bit more, like you think through the feeling a little bit better because it's like, oh, it's actually disappointment. It's not anger. And it's,
Brene Brown has a book called Atlas of the Heart. It's exactly on this.
Yeah.
It talks about like, I don't know how many emotions are in the book. I think it covers like 50 or 60 different emotions. And it's massive researcher. I'm sure people have heard of Brene Brown. If you haven't, check out Fire. And some of the research she did on it when she was like trying to like name different emotions, she asked people like, what are the name like your most common emotions? And like you said, it's people typically say they're happy, they're sad, or they're mad. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. Like, they just got like those three. But without us being able to like label the emotion we're feeling, we're unable to like properly deal with it. Yeah. Right. So like it's important to like have a broader vocabulary and understanding of the wider range of emotions. Yeah. Right. And so like to be able to put your finger on, like you said, oh, bet I'm disappointed. All right. Why am I disappointed? What expectations did I set that I didn't meet? Were those realistic expectations? No. Were those communicated with my partner? No. I
love that you bring that up because how important is it in communication within a team environment, work environment, romantic relationship, friendship? Like if you don't know the feeling that you're feeling and you're just angry, which is disappointment at its root, but you can't communicate that you're disappointed, you're doing a disservice to your team, to your relationship, because like now I can't communicate with my partner that it wasn't anger that I'm feeling, that it was disappointment. And like you go deeper than that. And I think that's what's really, really important to have that like personal, emotional, interpersonal.
Emotional intelligence, right? That's what they call it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I have heard of it. Yeah. Yes.
So that's part of therapy. Like they show you that there's these immense amount of emotions. We only know a handful because that's what we
happy, sad, mad.
Yeah.
Go deeper into it and you look at the feelings wheel. So when I was going through therapy, that's what they made me do. Like, you're not feeling angry. Look at these words and see what you actually lot in there.
Yeah.
So pull up Feelings Wheel. It's always on my
Yeah.
Feelings Wheel, Brene Brown, Atlas of the Heart. It does a beautiful job breaking down these emotions.
I remember she put me onto that. But aside from, because I haven't read that book, but I think I've read the Emotional Intelligence, right? 2.0. But aside from just knowing what emotion you feel, because someone can be like, oh, I feel disappointed. But if they don't know how to actually sit with that feeling and express it in a positive way, right? Then it's not just identified. You have to know what to do with that. Right?
Oh,
I can be like,
this
oh,
one.
I feel angry. Hey, bro, I fucking feel angry at you. Like, right? You have to be able to sit with it and voice it in a way that you're able to communicate it without, I'll say, communicate it stoically.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel disappointed. Or I feel angry at this happened, blah, 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 blah.
I think in parallel, that's like the emotional intelligence piece, right?
Yeah.
Because like within that, you know how to communicate it better. There was actually a podcast this week with Huberman talking about emotional intelligence, and they highlighted the differences between emotions and kind of like highlighting the importance of, well, no, it's not anger, it's disappointment, and what does that mean and how to communicate. It's really interesting.
That's actually really good.
That was a big part, sticking on this emotion piece to kind of loop in some of what the struggles I was planning to share. I think a key one is grieving, right? Like I think we often think about that one, rightfully so, when like someone passes away, right? Like we grieve their loss. But grief can look all sorts of ways. All sorts of ways, right? I think there was a point last year, so like 2023 was like a rough year for me. Like mental health wise, like it was rough. Like I'm going to segue. I'll eventually come back to grieving. Hold me accountable on coming back to grieving. I will get there.
Yeah.
But point is, it was a rough year, right? Like I just, I felt like there was like some shit going on at home, and then I felt like I dealt with it, and then I just wasn't like vibing, right? Like I just felt like I wasn't clicking. I would feel like, I talked about this on a prior pod, like I would feel off, like I would literally feel like sensations on my face and back here. And I think for a long time throughout that year, throughout 2023, I was chasing like an older time, right? Like I wasn't living in the present, and I was chasing like a feeling I used to feel before. And fast forward a little bit to like when I hit a low point, and shout out to you both. I mean, throughout all last year, y'all were part of my village. I remember, I'll say right now, when I had my panic attack and I had to go, I thought I was about to fucking die. I called Alberto and homeboy. I'm like, yo, bro, like I need to go to the doctor. And homeboy pulls up within an hour, and he fucking drove me to the doctor. Yes. I got to give you your flowers for that, dog. Bro. On a click, you were there. Then I had
good for you for reaching out to someone.
Of course,
too,
that's a key ass part, bro. You got to activate your village.
Yeah.
And then shout out to you too. Earlier in the year, I know we met up a few times, and I was in the depths.
Yeah.
But point is, so like that was my low point, right? This panic attack. And then something I talked about in therapy was like, and also through Brene Brown's book, I learned like, yo, I need to grieve that part of my life is over.
Boy,
like this right kind now. Of moment, like, look, it was a dope time, right? Like, like I really liked the workflow I was in like way back, right? Like I would wake up super early, and I would do a little of my own shit before going to the corporate job, and like I was just feeling like really good, right? I was like always amped on life, and I kept trying to chase that, like I said. And again, what that was doing, it was blocking me from enjoying the present, right? And I was constantly comparing. I was constantly comparing, like, why am I not feeling right now how I felt a year ago? What the fuck? And what I got to, like that turning point at that low point, thanks to the panic attack and to therapy and to Brene Brown, I was like, all right, bro, like I just get to really say that chapter of my life is over. That's okay. I get to fill in it as we're talking about it. You get to like feel that, right? That like, it's cool. Like it was dope to me, but like we're moving on now. Like it's a new chapter. Mm-hmm. And having to really accept that was huge, bro. Like I wouldn't have got through the year without really like sitting in that and really accepting. And like now I was able to open the next chapter, right? So to your point, like whether it's disappointment, whether it's grieving, you gotta fucking sit in it, bro, and really just fucking accept it, feel it, and only then can you fucking move on, you know?
Yeah, there's this this quote that always sticks to me. Saying you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Right? So a lot of, at least for me, and the anxiety sometimes we tend to feel is you don't want to, you can't accept the reality that you're currently in. Right? And the whole like comparing and trying to be in a different time. And I feel like that's what I'm comparing myself to. Like, bro, 6 months ago, I was feeling great. Why is it that I'm not at that point? Right? And that's me ignoring what my reality currently is, meaning that I'm not in a fucking great place. Right? But if I ignore what my current reality is, the consequences of ignoring the reality is feeling more depre, feeling more anxiety, feeling more irritation because you're not where you want to be. Right? You can't accept where you currently are. So like to tying that back in regards to like grieving, it's like breakups aren't only with people. Breakups are also with like times in your life and eras, right? And you wanna have like the great times live forever, but they only have a tremendous amount of value when they end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like breakups are necessary for growth and for change and to see who you are outside of that time in your life that you were so attached to, right? And like breakups, again, they're not just only with people, it's with times. It's
I love
with
that
jobs.
idea of breakup with jobs, with versions of yourself, right? You talk about versions of yourself, like you eventually say peace to a certain version, right? Like later moving on.
Yeah.
That's a fire concept.
So let's talk about that, bro, because we had started the conversation with therapy, right? And you talked about how where you were at all of 2023, you know, going down to panic attacks, and it's terrible going through that, right? You feel like you're dying. You feel like what your body's like fighting with you because you have all these physical symptoms that anxiety gives you that a lot of people tend to think that, oh, my mental health can't give me this.
Yeah.
Like what's going on? I need blood work. I need to get tested. Maybe I have cancer. Maybe I have so and so forth, right? And now it looks like you're actually in a better place.
Oh yeah.
Is therapy something that got you there?
Do you mind if before you go in, like, I'd love for you to guys share, Edwin, because I know that in the past I've had this conversation with you and it really helped me. I think a lot of people that don't know the definition or the feelings or the physical reaction that like, and I'd love for you guys to both share. If I don't know what a panic attack is, and like I'm not labeling it as a panic attack, I might be experiencing it, or I might be experiencing anxiety. And again, going back to the importance of having that like emotional intelligence and having like the words to be able to like articulate yourself. But like, I'd love for you to share what that is, because I think before you giving me the definition of what a panic attack is, what anxiety is, I would have probably said like, oh, I'm good. But no, like, one, everyone experiences these feelings. And then two, you might have experienced a panic attack or an anxiety attack or whatever it might be, but you just like weren't aware that it was one.
Yeah. Well, there's two attacks, right? At least for me, that I kind of went through, right? You have an anxiety attack and you have a panic attack. Sometimes you can have a panic attack and the anxiety attack is kind of on top of that. You can have an anxiety attack and not have a panic attack attached to that. A panic attack, for me specifically, is physical symptoms. Your heart rate shoots up. Think of it like I told you, go run a sprint for 10 minutes, bro. And you're like, and your heart's doing this, right? And it's beating fast. Se te baja la sangre. You're like, you can't see. Everything's like brain fog, like maxed out. And you're just overwhelmed. Like you're just overly stimulated. It feels like you're at a concert with 100,000 people and you're like right at the center and there's mosh pits everywhere. You're just like, oh, what the fuck's going on? And you're feeling all of these symptoms.
Frozen.
Yeah. And you're just inside like, wait, what's going on? Like sometimes you start getting numb. Your face will get numb. Your ear would get numb. You start getting hot flashes. And all this is happening maybe just in your house. There's no danger. It's a fight or flight response.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like a bear's chasing you.
Your body thinks you just saw a fucking bear and he's getting ready for war.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it is. Is your nervous system is so out of whack that your fight or flight response is just like it's triggering without anything around you specifically telling you to feel that way. An anxiety attack is you being overwhelmed with your emotions without any physical symptoms.
Good clarification.
Right? So there's no physical symptoms here. This is just you overwhelmed by something. Like you just feel like you can't conquer or you can't like fathom the fact that your life has this specific problem.
And you're running that scenario. The thoughts are not stopping, right?
Yeah.
You're constantly running that scenario. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Then you have
The compulsive piece, I think,
rumination.
yeah.
You're consistently ruminating. You're replaying that same issue over and over and over.
Yeah.
It could be something that's happening currently, something that's happened in the past, hence like PTSD,
Or that hasn't happened.
or something that hasn't happened that you think is going to happen but isn't. Now, when you have anxiety, right, the main component of that, one of the main components is cortisol. Your cortisol is completely shot up. When think of it, it's almost like you took a couple of shots of tequila. You took 5, 6, 7 shots, and you're like, oh fuck, you feel the effects. The cortisol, when you're having all these like this hormone just shoot up on its own, everything just feels like it's the worst possible case scenario, and that is going to happen. So anxiety attack is having that thought of everything that's going to happen. Every possible worst case scenario can happen, feels real.
Yeah.
Right? With no physical symptoms. And then a panic attack is that attached with physical symptoms.
Yeah. I love it. I love that you broke it down. I think it's important for people to listen to.
Big time. Big time.
And sometimes you have to, for me, it's like, because if you don't understand these concepts,
Yeah.
you just feel like your body's like, what the fuck is going on? You're just tripping out. Now you feel like you're caged into your mind and your body. Mm-hmm. Right? Something that's actually supposed to be your friend. But
And two practical tips here that I learned about on this journey. Number one is you can't die from a panic attack.
You cannot even though it
die.
feels like it.
Even though it feels like you die, you cannot die. Like you'll be good.
Yeah.
Eventually your body like does its thing and like it will realize like, oh, yo, we just need to like chill and breathe. So when you pass out, you can pass out from a panic attack, right? Yeah. But that's literally your body saying like, bro, you're fucking this up. Let's reset button.
It's a reset
and
button.
It does it on its own. I haven't passed out from one. I hope I never do. Knock on wood. I don't want to pass out from one. But that's just your body saying, bro, reset. And so your body will do its thing. Shout out to the body. Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll talk about how to like conquer it. I'll talk about like specifics of what helped me out. But
and
go
then
ahead.
the one other thing I learned recently from my therapist is, so you're gonna have to quote me on this.
Yes.
I think the sympathetic nerve system is like the one where we're freaking out, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that gets activated like during a panic attack. The parasympathetic nerve system, that's what they call the rest and digest system. Like that's what goes into effect when we're resting and digesting. That's what can calm your body down. And the simplest way to like activate the parasympathetic nervous system is with the diaphragmatic breathing. Like breathe from the belly, right? It took me a while to figure out what that meant, but it means like only, my therapist like put a hand on your belly and put your hand on your chest.
Make sure
when
it
you take the
stands.
breath in, make sure only your belly moves.
Yeah. It's a thing, man.
That's gonna activate your parasympathetic nervous system, and you'll be Gucci soon. But you know, you feel like you're gonna die.
It's bro. It does, right? But a lot of it is practice.
Yeah.
It's the majority of everything that we go through is just pain tolerance, right? For you to get a good body, you got to have enough pain tolerance to push through a certain weight and keep building up. Same thing. If you want to have a strong mindset, you want to be able to have good emotional health, you're going to have to go through some workouts.
Yeah.
And the workouts there are like panic attacks. And being able to like, okay, I'm having a panic attack. I feel like I can't. And sometimes it'll happen in the middle of the freeway.
Oh,
where you're driving.
Fuck that. Oh.
My thing is, if I'm able to stay calm while I'm driving in the middle of the freeway, everybody's going 70, 80, and I have my heart racing. If I can have the pain tolerance of, I feel this way, it's okay that I feel this way. Let me just breathe. Let me put the music down. Let me put the windows down. Let me just breathe. If I get through that, I had a good workout. Cool. And then you kind of get back to it. Because a lot of it, in the beginning, when you're having, at least for me, when I had panic attacks, they would last an hour. It would be like this fluctuation. Heart rate goes up and then it goes down. Heart rate goes up and then it goes down. Because I wanted it to go away. Whereas if you just accept that it's happening, eventually it goes down to like 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So now when I have a panic attack, it's like, it'll last like 2 minutes.
I want to highlight something that I feel like no one talks about, and I think it's really important to have like that intelligence that it exists, right? So there was a day in this week where I had like a bad day. I didn't feel level-headed. I felt a little bit of anxiety, and I think it originated from me consuming too much coffee that day. And
Yes.
no. But like it's a laughing thing. Like, oh wow, I felt shitty that day, and I had anxiety that day. But I also didn't drink water, and I also didn't eat well, and I also drank a ton of coffee. And I think that it gets underplayed how there's this like foundational importance of maintenance that we have in our life of getting good food in, getting a workout in, getting good sleep, drinking water. And those things affect your cortisols. And in me drinking a lot of coffee and not drinking water, it spiked my cortisol. And now I was experiencing anxiety, not because of like a mental shift, but it was a physical response to me just drinking a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
And within that, it has the same emotional feelings in your body, but like for different reasons.
Yeah.
Another one that happens, and that I've caught, and it's like, no, I'm not like, and then like, all right, well, what is that? What is the byproduct of anxiety? Well, anxiety gives you clouded judgment. You do composing
actions or whatever.
Yeah, you
Rumination.
rumination. Like
Yeah.
all these things are an action, a chemical response in your body of you having high cortisol levels. And either that high cortisol comes from like being anxious about like the future and you do it to yourself, or you might have just not drank water
coffee.
and drank too much coffee and like you're experiencing the same thing. So
Yeah.
like having that reflection of, hey, where is it coming from is super important. Another one is like when we're overstimulated, hence like this generation that we live in with our phones and like just like screens all the time. And when we're overstimulated, it causes also a spike in cortisol. And that also gives you anxiety and it gives you negative thoughts and it gives you, so like, what are we doing? How are you carrying yourself through the day that maybe you're not having a depressive episode? Maybe you're just not taking care of your body.
Yeah.
There's this thing that exists and it's like joked about, like there's campaigns like Snickers and these like hangry, right? Well, it's a thing and it exists in pop culture because it is a thing. Like if you don't eat, like there's a chemical response in your body and your mind thinks differently.
Ooh.
And you have a good meal in the morning or you have a good meal at lunch. And like while all of a sudden it changes, I'm reading a book called Noise right now. And they're talking about how we'll go into deeper. It's a great book. But one of the examples that they give is it's been studied that judges after lunch give less lenient sentences to right.
Oh, that's good.
And it's been studied by like 1,000 cases, 500 judges. After lunch, you get a shorter sentence.
Shit.
If it's your birthday, and this is like same background.
After lunch, more lenient, you said, right?
More lenient,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
because like they're
human.
They're human, and they're like now in a different state, physically and emotionally, right? So that's like a mind fuck in itself. If it's the judge's birthday, lenient sentences.
That's wild.
Yeah. If their favorite sports team the day before lost or won, the sentences change. And like the injustice there is huge. Like, let's talk about the injustice as well, right? How is it that same criminal history, same crime, but you went in at 8 a.m. before lunch, I went in at 12.
That's rough.
And
Yeah.
you get 3 years and I get 16 months. Like, that's insane, right? And they give these examples of like huge variety, the discrepancy between like sentences. We're talking about sometimes 10 years for the same crime, same criminal history. Imagine for the stroke of luck of him having a bad day, like that's painful for multiple reasons. But the reason why I share these examples is I want to highlight the importance of you taking care of your body and how that has a direct impact of taking care of your mind.
I got two things. I'm going to answer a question you said earlier, and I'm going to tell a story relevant to this. I laughed when you brought this up because I got a funny story on this that breaks this down on this idea of like careful of like what's causing your anxiety. So about 2 months ago, I go into a local coffee shop here in the Arts District. I will leave it nameless. And I'm asking for a cold brew. And she like gives me a cold brew, whatever. And I'm like testing them out. I'm like, ooh, that's good. Like it's like sweeter than I thought. It was just gonna be black. I'm like, oh, that's sweeter than I thought. And I'm like, bet, I'll run that one. She's like, yeah, it's this bean from Colombia that like is like really sweet. I'm like, oh, run it. So I'm drinking it. I'm like, yeah, it's just fire. Like it's cold brew, but it's got a little sweetness on it. And we're on our way to like a grad ceremony for someone in our family. Shout out Dr. Shavak. We got a PhD in the family.
Shout out.
And we're going to this grad, and I'm like, fuck, I'm kind of starting to feel a little anxious. Like, what the fuck? Like, why am I kind of tripping? Like, shit. Well, we've already learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bad, just like let it come. Like, cool, let it pass. It's this blistering hot in June, bro, and it's at UCLA. Shout out, no, not UCLA. Fight on, baby. SC all the way. But we're at UCLA, unfortunately. And the grad is in the middle of this fucking tennis court. There's no shade.
Yeah.
And we're approaching, getting to all the fam, and I love Myra's fam, of course. But I start feeling anxious as I'm pulling up again. I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm having like a little panic attack. Maybe it's the sun, maybe it's the what I did earlier today, whatever. But I'm trying to let it pass. But I'm at that point, I'm declaring myself like in panic attack territory. But I'm just letting it pass.
Wow. Yeah.
And so eventually I come down from it, and then I go back to this coffee shop like a week later, and I'm like, yo, let me have that cold brew again. Like, that shit was fire. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no. That was the concentrate.
Yeah.
Oh, got
I
it.
had a cup of cold brew concentrate.
Wow.
That was supposed to make 16 cups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
You smacked that whole thing?
yes, I did.
Yeah.
So what gave me the panic attack that day, to your point?
Yeah.
That fucking cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so the lesson here, right, outside of it being a fun story, is to your point. Like, when you're feeling down and anxious or whatever, even low depressed,
Yeah.
like, be careful what you attach it to, right? I was starting to say, like, fuck, what's going on in my life right now that has me like tripping? Like, why am I spinning right now?
No, but
It was the fucking coffee.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Isn't that like,
Yeah.
it kind of makes the point of what am I consuming that I don't know that I'm consuming that's actually giving me this? Right? Like you said, like the whole scrolling. I know scrolling's bad, right? But it does have a response. And there's times
Yeah.
where you start cutting out other things and breaking down and reversing,
Saying it's
constructing.
this,
Maybe
that.
it's this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're like, oh, it's been this shit the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you just need to go outside, get some fresh air,
You need to eat
Yeah.
more.
and like not be on your phone for a little bit, and it'll probably solve it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've always thought this, bro. And I feel like having mental health issues, right? Let's say simple things like anxiety and like depression, it brings you back to the roots. Like the diet, the physical activity, because you can't do anything besides just being at home. And then
Yeah.
you start from the ground up and you kind
Yeah.
of take everything out. You can't go out. You can't go drink with the friends. You can't smoke your fucking weed. You can't fucking go out partying until 5 because your body, your mental health can't let you do that.
Yeah.
You're just at home. And then from there, you're like, oh, I could just be here. And you just reverse engineer. You start building the life back up from scraps.
Were you gonna say one more thing?
Yeah,
Hit me.
I don't. I wanted to
Yeah,
say
run
the
it, run it,
exam. I wanted to say the example of the Alcoholic Anonymous.
Okay.
I think I shared this with you guys,
I
right?
don't keep going. Maybe.
Yeah, so in Alcoholics Anonymous, or maybe like the drug version of it, they have in their 10-step program or whatever it might be.
Oh yes, keep going. Yeah, that's a
So
good one.
they highlight like as one of the core principles when they're trying to get off of this substance, this addictive substance that is really having a control in their body.
Yeah.
One of the things that they highlight first is before you take action and before you take action and like go find that alcohol or find that drug, like before you take action, make sure that you've completed the main 4. And I don't know how they word it, and I don't know the name of the actual thing, but it's like amazing.
I'll try to
And
pull it up. Keep going,
It's
though.
basically what we're talking about.
Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah,
Keep going, though. Keep
they
going.
say it's like before you like cave into that urge of going to go get alcohol or going to go get a drug. Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Like, have I slept well?
Yes.
Man,
And
Meds.
like, is it
Is
meds?
it meds?
I
Yeah.
think it might be
It's
meds.
meds.
the 4 A's or something like that.
Yeah, but it's basically what we're
Did you
talking
take your
about.
meds?
3
You
boxes.
brought this up.
Yeah.
Is it called meds? I
Remember
don't know.
that?
If,
Yeah.
No, I did bring this up. I don't know if it's called meds.
Yeah, you're like,
okay.
did you take your meds? And it's
Yeah, and so in those 4, a lot of the urge that we have to like this compulsion to like go to the bad habits and like cave in on these things that we don't want to do is because we're just like we haven't fulfilled those 4.
Those core
And it's
necessities.
Like, yeah, and one of them I think is like, have I been social? Like had a conversation with someone? Like we should also not be
Connected.
internal and like
We're
just like
social animals.
isolated. Yeah. I'm gonna come back to you guys with the actual name and like the actual practice.
We'll link it.
Yeah.
And I think this would be a good place to wrap. And like one thing I want to say is going to hit on everything we've been talking about. Like when I look at what's made the difference and where I was struggling last year to now, like y'all said, it's the basics, bro. Like what's changed since last year? Well, yes, outside of therapy all year. Number 2, I'm sleeping more. right? Like I'm trying to get 7.5, 8 hours. I'm making sure I eat before 10, something before 10. That's a hard rule now. Before I would like, not have lunch till 2 or not have anything till 2. And I'm working out. Shout out Ed Weezy Fitness, Ed Weezy Life, but both. And I'm working out, and bro, like I've never felt stronger mentally and physically. It's the basics, bro. Like you just gotta cover the basics. It's the sleep, the
start
eat,
there.
Start there. If you're like if you're in a low place, dog. That's it.
It really. It's just get back to the basics. Get back to the basics. Be consistent with the basics, and then you'll start seeing your life turn around. You'll start seeing clarity. You'll start feeling purpose. You know, connect yourself to a higher power, whatever it is. Just
connect with your social circles.
All that.
Yeah.
You get down to the basics, your life, and you cut out all the bullshit. And everybody knows what their bullshit is. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what their bullshit is.
They do.
Like everybody has their own specific like term for it, or their specific like action for it. Cut that out, minimize it, and then maximize off those things that we're talking about. Your life starts fucking changing and shit. But we didn't get to the therapy of it all.
We gotta cover some therapy.
Yeah, but we'll go in detail because I'm really excited about you potentially graduating from the therapy.
I'm scared about it. But
but we'll tap into it on the next one, bro.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, boys. Estamos bien?
Estamos bien,
Estamos
baby.
bien?
Let's go, baby.
Let's get
All
it.
right, let's get it.